What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got an unboxing and first look at the brand new AirPods 3rd generation. So this is something I feel like we've been waiting for quite a while now, and over the years we've heard rumors of like a redesign, one that looks more like the Pro but doesn't have the silicone tips, and possibly some noise cancellation features as well. But here we have it in front of us. It comes in at a price of $179, has the H1 chip, has an official IPX4 rating, and it also has spatial audio as well, which is something that Apple has talked a lot about recently, and we've seen it on the AirPods Pro and also on the AirPods Max. And I'm honestly pretty excited for this because over the years, even though I do have the AirPods Pro that I use a lot for traveling and such, I personally really like the AirPods 2 because they're the easiest to just slip in and out without any like silicone tip. And a lot of times I'm just walking around and don't really need that full noise cancellation. So personally, this is the one that I'm most excited for, and with some of the added things like improved sound quality, which we really do have to go ahead and test out, as well as the improved battery life, I do feel like it is a pretty decent upgrade, but it is also a very crowded industry now. There's so many good options out in the market at different price points. So if you guys want to see any specific comparisons, just let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you know when those are up. But let's just go ahead and unbox this right now. As you can see on the front here, it does look like the AirPods Pro. Pretty simple, has a shorter stem, and on the back, the case also kind of does emulate the AirPods Pro. And let's just peel this off here. And let's just slide this up. There's just like the standard kind of paperwork and instruction manuals and stuff. So I don't think we have to go over that or anything, but other than that, you have the AirPods 3s right there. And I've got to say, the case is actually a little bit smaller than I thought. Even though I know they're a little bit smaller in size than like the AirPods Pro, I figured that the size would be the exact same. But it is kind of like in between of what the AirPods 2 is and what the AirPods Pro are. You can see right there, there's the sensors. There's also actually improved skin sensors as well. So if you go ahead and take them in and out, it has better sensing capabilities there, which I think is always a good plus. But I found that the previous generation was already pretty good in terms of the automatic play pause feature. And you also have the battery indicator, which is nice, but nothing new. And on the bottom, you have your lightning port. So generally speaking, it isn't like a huge design shift. It is pretty much what we did expect. But other than that, in the box, you do have a cable as well, which is nice that they do include. And it has the USB Type-C. So if you have like the new iPhone and stuff, you're probably switched over to Type-C by now. And that is very nice. So yeah, here's what's included in the box of the AirPods 3. So now that we've got this connected to the iPhone, what are some of the changes that are in this new 3rd generation? So first off is the design. It is pretty much a hybrid of what the 2nd generation and also what the AirPods Pro is, with the shorter stem that does look a little bit more stylish. The other thing is also the sound quality. And Apple said that they have a new driver in this generation of Apple AirPod, which should give you better sound quality overall, but does also tie in with like the spatial audio and the processor inside to give you some of these new spatial audio features. Essentially what spatial audio is that it uses like the motions and movements of the head to be able to adapt the sound accordingly and give you like a spatial experience. And as the hardware continues to get a lot better, I think software is where the real changes are going to kind of contribute to the overall listening experience. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the optimizations, the setup, and making like a relatively small earbud like this feel very full and giving you that wide sound stage is kind of where I evaluate different earbuds as being good or excellent. The next thing is also IPX4 sweat and water resistance. And I'm gonna put a chart on the screen to show you some of the specifics of that. But previous generation of the Apple AirPod didn't have any official IP rating, which meant that like in some cases, if it's really, really wet out, then you could have some problems. But to be honest, I very rarely heard of any issues when it came to like sweat, exercising, having it in the rain. And in some cases, I even heard people like accidentally put it in the washing machine and they still work perfectly fine. fine. I think another great feature though is the improved battery life. The previous generation promises near about 5 hours, and with the case it gives you a total of about 24 hours, but the new AirPods 3 gives you up to 6 hours of listening, and with the case up to 30 hours in total. And that is really good, because on very long days I would say that I am able to drain a pair of AirPods 2 from start to finish, so just having that additional time and also more time in the case is really nice, because to be totally honest with you, I forget to charge mine all the time. What is also nice is that there is support for MagSafe charging, so it's able to attach and align to that, and it also has wireless charging built in, which the AirPods 2 has as well. So it's great that if you have like a wireless charging pad or a MagSafe accessory for your iPhone 12 and iPhone 13, you do have that option there. So before we go on to the next part, I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, EcoFlow, and their River Mini portable power station that is perfect for consumer electronics. This right here is a 210 watt-hour station, and it has so many different features and different types of inputs, while also delivering a good enough output for stuff like your computer to be able to charge things at a very fast speed. So this is actually a really nice size. You can take it with you camping, or like on a day where you're doing like video production and don't have like a power outlet nearby. But in our case, this is really good for charging up smartphones, camera batteries, and also the computers, because if you go ahead and take a look at the front, it actually has a screen that gives you all the indications of the output, the amount of time left, and the percentage of battery left. But you do also have your ports such as USB Type A and also a USB Type C port that delivers up to a 100 watt output. So you can plug in the brand new MacBook and charge it up at a very respectable speed. And on the other side here, you also have 2 outlets. But what is also cool about this model is that there is a Qi wireless charger that is actually on the top. So you can go ahead and place your smartphone or your earbuds and it will charge that right away. And I think that is a great feature to have, in addition to being able to plug all the different things in and monitor the amount of power that it's using on the front. It also has an extreme fast charger and supports an AC input up to 300 watts and will recharge in 0 to 80% in 1 hour. And it will get a full charge in about 1.5 hours with the included power adapter. You can also monitor and power the EcoFlow River Mini station from the EcoFlow app, which is really cool. And if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, the wireless model comes in at a price of $399, but will be $319 until the end of the year. And the standard version comes in at a price of $349 and will remain at a price of $299. So huge thanks to EcoFlow once again for sponsoring this video, and I'm going to drop a link to everything down below. So now taking a look at like the size and form factor comparison between a few different models, including the AirPods 2, the AirPods Pro, and also the Beats Studio Buds, which I think comes in at a very good like middle price point that gives you like some solid decisions to choose from. Here are some of the differences right off the bat. And I'm going to talk a bit more about this in the review after like testing the audio and all that kind of stuff. But just from taking a look at the AirPods 2 and the AirPods 3, you can see that the case essentially is just like a little bit bigger, but not by much, but it's bigger in like a bit of a different way. I will say the new one does feel like noticeably more sizable compared to what it was before, but honestly, it isn't really that noticeable at all in your pocket. And you can see that like the new ones are a little bit wider, but they're not as tall. Taking out the actual earbuds and comparing the size right here, this is kind of what you're working with. You can see that the actual ear tip is larger on the AirPods 3, which I believe will give you like a better fit overall. Apple is always trying to kind of optimize that a little bit. And I know like the AirPods 2 are ones that either fit or they didn't. And in my case, they fit very nicely, and which is why I really like them. But I do feel like a bit of a larger tip here is going to be able to stay in more ears. So yeah, you can see like there's the sensors and everything. There's also like the microphone and all that, and the actual output. And I do notice that the grill on the AirPods 3 are a little bit larger. So I'm going to have to test and see if there's any like very noticeable sound quality improvements. On top of that, there's also a better skin sensor on the AirPods 3. So taking in and out of your ears and the play pause function. But yeah, like generally speaking, it does seem a little bit bulkier, but it is much shorter of a stem, which I think is really nice. And the mic quality is still very good. I also like the fact that you have the actual like friction buttons now, so you can control the play, pause, and skip by pressing down on it, as opposed to like kind of the touch functions on the AirPods, because to be honest, it didn't really work as well as I would have liked, and so I didn't really use it that often at all. So the next one to compare though is the AirPods Pro to the AirPods 3. And as you can tell, the case itself is noticeably bigger on the AirPods Pro, which does make total sense because the actual enclosure itself of the earbud, including the silicone tip, is also bigger. And there were some rumors of the AirPods 3 having like noise cancellation features, even if they're like a little bit more basic than what you find on the AirPods Pro, but that isn't the case here. Let's just take out an earbud from one side and compare them to each other. And as you can see, it is very, very similar in terms of its overall form factor, aside from some small changes in like the sensor design and the mic placement and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, it is very similar in terms of its look, and in the ear, it pretty much looks exactly the same. They both do have spatial audio, they both have the H1 chip, and I think even though you're gonna be comparing the two options, the price is actually a pretty significant difference, so you will have to make a decision there, because for those who need like noise cancellation, it's absolutely a no-brainer to go ahead and buy the Pro. But that kind of brings us to the third comparison between the Beats Studio Buds and the AirPods 3. So this right here is the Beats Studio Buds, and I feel like it's very strategic in its place if it was to be compared to all these other products. And we all know Apple does own Beats, so it sort of makes sense. Some of the products have the H1 chip, some of them have the W1 chip. This one right here doesn't actually have any official chip, which makes it a more universal earbud for iPhone and also Android users, but it does have some noise cancellation functions and good sound quality. But to be totally honest, the noise cancellation is there and it works to some degree, but it definitely isn't that good. When you compare the size though, it is closer to the size of the AirPods Pro case than it is the AirPods 3, but coming in at a price that is right in between the AirPods 3 and the AirPods 2. And with the amount of money that you have to spend to get the AirPods Pro, it is a very, very compelling option, and it would be very interesting to see which one is ultimately better when I go ahead and compare the sound quality. Just taking a look at the size itself, they are actually similar in terms of the main enclosure, with these Studio Buds being a little bit larger, but these don't have a stem at all, which actually makes it look a little bit better in the ear. I think a lot of people don't like the stem even to this day. So if you're looking for a bit of color and you want some sort of noise cancellation, but you don't want to spend like $179 and up or 250 bucks for the AirPods Pro, then this is just like a very perfect option in the middle. But otherwise, that is like my first impressions of the Apple AirPods 3, and I'm gonna go ahead and test these out now, see how the sound quality is, and with a lot of like audio products on the market today, maybe it is worth doing a comparison, but because there's so many, I'm gonna need you guys to leave a comment down below